Between habit and FDA warnings, what would you believe? A canned soup you eat every week, seemingly convenient and tasty, has just been listed by the government as something to be recalled and destroyed at all costs. What you believed was safe turns out to be silently poisoning your health. In 2025, the FDA was forced to issue a series of recalls targeting the most popular soup brands across America, and very likely one of them is already sitting in your kitchen pantry. Some contain wood fragments. Some have sodium levels so high they can cause hypertension and strokes in people over 60. And worst of all, some have been accused of mislabeling, putting allergic people face to face with death without even knowing it. Here are 7 soups you need to stop eating immediately. And if you're looking for a replacement, stay until the end of the video to discover safer brands you can trust. Number 1. Sea Bear Chowder. If you're a fan of convenient seafood soups, quick yet flavorful, then brace yourself. Sea Bear, once considered the gold standard of premium chowder, has just been named by the FDA in an extremely serious warning.
Sea Bear Company is recalling its smoked salmon chowder and its alehouse clam chowder. Botulism is a potentially deadly form of food poisoning.
Not the light kind of warning like you'll get a stomachache for a few hours. This one is about your life. 2 lines smoked salmon chowder and alehouse clam chowder have officially been recalled across the United States due to the risk of botulism contamination. And if you've ever held one of these pouches in your hands or sent one as a gift, now is the time to ask yourself, did I just narrowly survive or escape a biological bomb? According to the FDA itself, the problem is not the ingredients or the flavor, it's the sealing. Specifically, the company's packaging machine malfunctioned, causing tiny leaks invisible to the naked eye. And you know what happens when seafood sits in an anaerobic, oxygen-free, improperly cooled environment? Clostridium botulinum appears, an extremely toxic bacterium that can paralyze the body from the inside out, stop breathing, and quietly end a life. The problem is the pouch looks completely normal. No strange smell, no spoiled taste, no warning signs for you to notice. Meaning you could have heated it up, poured it into a bowl, sipped spoon after spoon, thinking you're having a wholesome meal, without realizing you're feeding a neurotoxin straight into your system. That's why the FDA demanded a nationwide recall, not just in retail states like Washington or Oregon, but also for online customers as far away as Florida, Texas, and Maine. The consequences were too serious to ignore, especially for the elderly Sea Bear's most loyal customers. With weakened immune systems, just one faulty chowder pouch could send a senior straight to the ER and respiratory failure. You might think only 2 soups are faulty. Just avoid those. But if you find 2 rotten eggs in a carton, would you fry the rest? Consumers are reacting exactly as humans should, with caution. The anxiety no longer concerns only smoked salmon or clam chowder. It spreads to every Sea Bear product, lobster, biscuit, crab and corn, even halibut chowder. Because the sealing technology is the same, the production line is one, and the risk is uniform. The biggest crisis isn't the food, it's trust. If Sea Bear, the most beloved chowder brand on Amazon, once reviewed with 5 stars all over healthy living forums, could fail like this, then who can guarantee the safety of others? Let's uncover the next household brand in the following story. Don't leave the video because the worst is not over yet, and maybe we'll find a safer option for your health. Number 2. Dinty Moore. There are meals no one calls delicacies, yet they are always present in American kitchens. Dinty Moore is one of them. Millions of Americans, especially elderly people living alone, have chosen Dinty Moore as a safe solution for a hot, hearty, and quick meal. But that trust was just shattered. In May 2025, an urgent notice shocked many.
Check your pantry this afternoon. Hormel is recalling more than 250,000 pounds of beef stew. The company says to look for 20-ounce metal cans with Dinty Moore beef stew on them. The cans may be contaminated with pieces of wood.
Hormel Foods owner of Dinty Moore officially recalled more than 117 tons of canned beef stew after foreign objects were discovered. Not hair, not plastic, not metal, but wood. Hardwood fragments capable of cracking teeth, tearing gums, scratching throats, or in the worst cases, puncturing the esophagus if swallowed. 6 consumers came forward after finding this in their meals, and what made it worse is that this wasn't a small batch. The expiration dates stretch all the way to February 2028, These cans could already be in supermarkets, restaurants, kitchens, and even clinics where elderly people or those with low income believe they're eating something safe and nutritious. Do you remember the last time you had Dinty Moore? Maybe on one of those scorching days when no one wanted to go outside for food. Maybe when you sent some cans to a relative thinking they were convenient, easy to store, and never troublesome. But it's hard to swallow the fact that a piece of beef stew could come with a sharp wood splinter. This isn't something you shrug off with a frown. It's a highest level FSIS warning, meaning severe health risks if the product keeps being consumed. The sad part is instead of being caught early, the problem only surfaced because consumers themselves reported it. Meaning you, the very people who've eaten it for decades, had to be the ones to speak up. You have the right to ask if no one noticed how many more meals would those wood shards end up in. How many more seniors would choke visit dentists or end up in hospitals without knowing why? If you're worried and looking for alternatives, here's the good news: there are safer options. Amy's Organic Chunky Vegetable and Beefless Stew or Pacific Foods Hearty Vegetable Soup. No real meat, but the ingredients are clearly sourced and certified organic. Lower sodium, no preservatives, and most importantly, no wood splinters. We don't need a national brand if it trades convenience for danger. Stay tuned for the next name because it will surprise you even more. A brand thought to be scandal-free now appears on this list for an unexpected reason. Number 3, Progresso. The third name on today's list might surprise you. Maybe you've picked it before. Not because it's delicious or cheap, but simply because it felt safe. The Progresso creamy chicken and wild rice can fit that mold. The word creamy sounds appealing, wild rice sounds wholesome, and the long-standing brand makes you think it can't go wrong. So people toss it into their carts, into their kitchens, into their trust almost unconsciously. But there's one detail many overlook: the nutrition label. A single serving can contain nearly 1,700 ml of sodium, meaning just 2 bowls and you hit your daily sodium limit. And who stops at 1 bowl? Especially when it tastes easy, aromatic, slightly creamy, the kind that makes you keep eating without realizing you're consuming salt instead of nutrition. The worst part, few suspect it because it doesn't taste overly salty. Thanks to natural flavor, hydrolyzed protein, and additives that keep it savory yet deceptive. The only thing missing, a warning for consumers. The sad story here isn't a recall or a tragic accident. The FDA isn't involved. No one has been seriously injured. And that makes it even more frustrating. You aren't warned, you aren't alarmed, and you keep thinking everything's fine. Until someone happens to read the nutrition facts, and suddenly everyone wonders, how much salt have I been consuming these past months? This isn't just about one can. It's about trust. People buy Progresso because they believe it's better. They believe the brand stands on the side of consumer health. They believe that if they want something quick without guilt, this is the safe choice. But that sense of safety is just a shell coated in words and design. Inside, it's different. If you once trusted this brand, you're not alone. Many did. One person said, "I chose Progresso because Campbell's felt too industrial." Turns out there's no difference. And it's true. They differ in style and packaging, not in salt content. That's why danger doesn't always come from bugs, wood, or bacteria. Sometimes it's what you eat every week, every month, the habits you've built. And sometimes you're the only one who can stop it. Because if a supposedly wholesome brand can trick us with tiny numbers on a label, then what else is sitting quietly in our pantries unnoticed? Number 4, Nature Mills. Food allergies are unlike any other health issue. They don't knock on the door, don't give warnings, and sometimes don't even let you reach the hospital in time. The scary part is you may not know what you just ate. And that is exactly what makes the FDA's warning about Nature Mills packaged soup products more serious than ever. In mid-May 2025, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration issued a notice requiring consumers to immediately stop using and dispose of several Nature Mills soup products. Names that sound extremely healthy, like Wonderberry leaf soup, moringa leaf soup, avarampu soup, or horsegram soup, were all on the warning list. The reason? All of these products contain major allergens such as wheat milk and sesame, but none of them were declared on the packaging labels. Imagine you are allergic to milk or sesame. You carefully read every ingredient line before buying because you know the consequence of a small mistake is too great. You see the product made from herbs, nothing dangerous, even marketed as good for digestion, lowering blood sugar, supporting anti-inflammation. So you bring it home, cook it, eat it, and then call an ambulance. This is not fiction. For those who have seen a loved one suffer an anaphylactic shock, you will understand that a missing allergen on the label is not a small mistake. It is a blow to trust and could be the final blow for someone. What makes this case even more concerning is the image of Nature Mills before the warning. They were not a mass industrial brand. They appeared as an alternative for dieters, the elderly people with digestive issues. Their soups were widely promoted on social media as mild, natural, free of chemical additives. And it was this friendly image that lowered consumer vigilance. In reality, the healthiest-looking soups carried the greatest risks. Not a few people have shared personal experiences after hearing the warning. Some said they once broke out in rashes after eating moringa soup, but never thought it was due to milk because the label said nothing. Others were luckier reading the warning just in time as they were about to cook dinner for a husband allergic to sesame. Without that news report, they would never have known how dangerous the seemingly nutritious soup was. So, how can you protect yourself? First of all, if you have Nature Mills soups in your kitchen, check the product name and distribution date right now. If it falls between late 2023 and May 2025, the best option is to return or throw it away. Don't regret a few dollars because you cannot gamble your health just to finish a pack of food. Number 5, Campbell's. Have you ever imagined that a hot, fragrant bowl of soup could carry the risk of sending you to the emergency room, not because of bacteria, not because of preservatives, but because of wood fragments? Sounds absurd, right? But that is exactly what is happening with Campbell's frozen soup products, a household brand that countless American families have trusted for decades. This August, FSIS issued a warning about 3 Campbell's frozen soups: Wicked Thai-style chicken, tortilla soup, and Baja enchilada. The reason wasn't spoiled meat or bacteria, but cilantro. Specifically, the batch of cilantro used in these soups was contaminated with small wood pieces. As a result, numerous finished soup containers may contain hard fragments that could cause choking mouth injuries or worse, digestive tract damage if swallowed. And although there is no official recall yet, the warning alone was enough to shock millions of consumers. The worrying part is these products are not rare. They are sold everywhere from Walmart to Costco, Target, Publix. You may have bought them, kept them in the freezer for lazy cooking days. Convenient, safe with a touch of Mexican or Thai spice, and from a brand you grew up with, why not trust it? But this time, that very familiarity led many to let their guard down. To be clear, not all Campbell's products have issues. Only those 3 frozen soups were included in the latest warning. But the unease spreads far beyond that. Because when you buy a soup can and have to double-check whether it is chicken tortilla, whether it says frozen, and whether its batch code is on the list, things are no longer simple. Trust doesn't always break from a direct hit. Sometimes it breaks because you have to think too much about a food you never had to worry about before. What makes people more disappointed is not that they hate Campbell's, but that they once loved it. And as trust fades, their only concern will be which name will be next after this national brand. Number 6, Great Value. Perhaps no soup can is as familiar to American households as Great Value's mushroom soup. You easily spot it in Walmart carts in retirees' homes or in middle-class kitchen cupboards whenever they need a quick, cheap, easy-to-cook meal. But precisely because it seems so harmless, few would expect that inside the small can lies a heavy price you pay with your health, especially if you are elderly, hypertensive, or following a low-sodium diet. 1 can of Great Value mushroom soup, about 300 grams, contains up to 850 milligrams of sodium. That means if you eat just a quarter of the can, you've already gone nearly halfway to your daily sodium limit. And if you eat the whole can, as many people do, the salt intake could make your heart work twice as hard. Beyond that, the product contains ingredients like yeast extract and natural flavor. Sounds familiar? Exactly. These are often used to replace or hide the presence of glutamate, which works much like MSG. And although the FDA may allow it, many people are still sensitive to them. The issue is not that the product has salt or flavor enhancers. The issue is that it is advertised as mild and safe. Mild and safe. Yet what you ingest is not mild at all. Elderly people, those with heart disease, or anyone striving for healthy eating should not underestimate such soup cans, especially when they come from a brand tied to low cost. Saving money at the grocery store is understandable, but saving should not mean risking your health. Many people once trusted this product because Great Value is Walmart's brand, and Walmart is everywhere believed to have strict quality control. But when you look closely at the ingredients, you realize that a homemade mushroom soup with fresh milk, fresh mushrooms, and a bit of butter is far easier to control. Some people have reported headaches or unusual thirst after a single serving. Others said they never imagined something that looked so light could affect blood pressure. And the choice is always yours. Now let's move to the final soup on this list. Number 7, Signature Select. The last name on this list was not recalled by the FDA, did not contain foreign objects, and had no link to dangerous chemicals or bacteria. And perhaps that makes it even more noteworthy. A mistake that seems tiny, but enough to make you lose trust in the entire food industry, where a labeling error of just a few words can send consumers to the hospital. Signature Select, a private label brand of major supermarket chains like Albertsons and Safeway, was found to have released canned soups with a severe labeling error. The lid printed in big, bold letters, creamy chicken and wild rice soup, but the main side label read chicken corn chowder. And the actual contents, not rice, not wild rice soup as expected, but corn chicken and one critical thing, wheat. A major allergen for millions of Americans, and particularly dangerous for those with celiac disease or gluten allergies. Worse, from top to bottom, nowhere on the packaging was there a note that the product contained wheat. No warning, no mention, no sign. For some, this may be just a name error. But for allergy sufferers, just a few drops of soup can trigger anaphylaxis. And the frightening part is hardly anyone expects danger from such a simple error. Labeling mistakes are not new, but when they occur with convenient, ready-to-eat foods purchased out of trust and speed, the cost to consumers is huge. This story is not about one can or one misprinted lid. It reveals a larger concern about negligence and quality control among big retailers. Because Signature Select is an in-house brand, meaning they don't produce, they outsource manufacturing and then label. And with this model, thousands of other products are out there working the same way, produced in one place, inspected elsewhere, sold somewhere else. One broken link is enough for everything to collapse. Some will say this is just a technical error. But if you ask those who have been hospitalized due to unknown allergic reactions, if you ask cautious mothers over every meal for their children or elderly people, strictly dieting every spoonful, they will tell you this is no small matter. It is a slap to trust. Not just trust in one brand, but in the belief that the food industry always puts consumer health first. It is time we reconsider the meaning of convenience in our daily meals. A soup may save you time, but it may also cost far more if you don't carefully read everything behind its shiny label. Don't just trust familiar logos or the big healthy words printed on the front. Because sometimes the danger lies in the small details our eyes easily skip. And most importantly, you don't need to wait until the FDA issues a recall or the media explodes with news to start worrying. Begin a simple habit. Read ingredients carefully, check sodium levels, and learn to practice reasonable doubt. If you have tips to check packaged foods or your own shopping habits, share them in the comments. This video is not meant to spread panic or division. Our sole goal is to help you better understand the foods you consume every day. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the latest content.